Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game as match preview of West Ham United against Manchester United. 7 p.m. kickoff on a Sunday night. What idiot thought that was a good idea? But anyway, here we are. Gonzo, can I get your thoughts on Man U, please?
Yeah, I think there's a few things on Man U, really. I think they've still got the turmoil of the ownership, which may be getting resolved now. I think there's a preferred bidder. I don't think it's Ratcliffe. I think it's the Qataris. That's an interesting one because clearly it's you're not allowed, as I understand, I don't know the exact rules, but I don't think you're allowed to own two big European clubs. So I think they're sort of saying, I think it is the same people that own PSG, but they're saying, oh, it's not us. That's our cousin. He's different. He's not with us at all. It was about, I guess in many respects, it was like the Saudis trying to prove that Newcastle wasn't state owned. Up until the point where just before the World Cup, when they started hosting Eddie Howe and all his team, it became quite obvious that they be state guests of the state. I think we all know what happened there. So clearly there are ways around it. I think that's what's going on there. Ratcliffe, I don't know. It's not for me to speak for the Man United fans. Maybe he would be the preferred bidder by the fans. I think he's been a lot more friendly towards them and said that they can maybe have a little bit of a voice, perhaps understands the frustrations. I think the Glazers are probably overvaluing that, which is not making the salaries. You know what you think? Yeah, they've made such a huge amount of money out of that club. I think, do you know what? They've been offered $5 billion. They're holding out for 6. Take the money. I think actually Ratcliffe though might be. This might upset the Man U fans. He might be saying that they can keep the Glazers can keep a non-executive place on the board. I'm not sure how clever that is, quite frankly. In terms of the team, brought Ten Hag in. I don't think he's maybe transformed them as much as some would think, but I think they're missing some forwards. I think some of their signings have flattered to deceive, and some of them have been very good.
I think Ten Hag's done excellent, to be honest with you. I think they look like they're going to get top 4. They won the Carabao Cup. They're in the FA Cup final. I think in terms of his first season, I think it's been, I would label it up as a big success. But not only that, he took control of the club, if you like, when he booted out Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
I think that was a huge test of him as a manager, and I think he's passed it with flying colours. He's brought through two of the youngsters like Garnacho and Palestri's coming through. I think there's a lot to like at what Ten Hag's doing at that club, and they've got an elite manager. They do have a top manager there, but it's somebody that the fans have taken to really, really quickly. You can see the players have taken to him really, really quickly as well. And I just love the way he manages. Like when Casemiro and Fernandes had a row the other day, Ten Hag got asked about it. He said, so what? Let them argue. He said, I'd rather they argue than say nothing. He said, they're top players. And if they're demanding that level from each other and the other one's not doing it, the other one's more than right to pull them up on and say, oh, what are you doing kind of thing. And gets asked, about Anthony's aggression against Brighton or what you're going to do. And he's basically said, I don't mind it. I love it. That's what makes him the player he is. I'm not going to tell him to stop being like that. He just oozes class, Ten Hag. I loved it about Ajax. I think he's doing fantastic at Man United, and I think they've had a really good season. Bit of a funny question. I seen this on Saturday Social on Sky Sports. So I'm going to ask you, Gonzo. Who, if Man United win the FA Cup, and Arsenal finish second, who has had the better season?
Arsenal finished second, man. Oh, that's a good one. That's a corker. I don't think any of them are desperate for the FA Cup. I don't think that's what they want. As long as they both got Champions League, I think they both want the league title. And I think Arsenal probably because they're closer to the league title. I mean, here's a question for you. Man United are what? Are they 4th? I think they're 4th.
Yeah.
They're 4th. And I think looking at their fixtures, I think they probably won't get caught, but they could be. If that had been Solskjaer, do you think that would be acceptable? Because it doesn't look to be. I know he might be building for something at the moment. If you look at that league, that sort of looks like a Solskjaer season.
That's interesting. I mean, it's hard to sort of go against that because he had Man United finishing higher. So there is that. But Ten Hag has brought the trophy to the club. Yeah. And I think it's just the longevity. But also, I think, first of all, I think Ten Hag's got the CV that Solskjaer obviously didn't have. And second of all, like I said, I think Ten Hag's shown a bit of minerals at that club, which has been lacking a little bit. I think too much player power perhaps has gone on there, not just with Ronaldo, but before him, Pogba was there. It felt like he could pick and choose when he played, etc. So it feels like they've got rid of some of the bad influences in that changing room, and now they've got players that want to be at Man United and want to play for Man United. And he's making big calls like getting Maguire out the team. And you've heard Eric Bailly saying, "Oh no, Maguire only played because he was English." I think it was Mark Rojo said Maguire only played because he cost 80 million and stuff. And you think, well, if that's true or not. But first of all, there's two ex-players saying it now. But at least Ten Hag's gone, "No, get out of my team. You're not good enough. I'm going to play Luke Shaw at centre-back ahead of you," kind of thing. By the way, I think it's Man U. I think Man U have had a better season than Arsenal if they finish second, because they've won silverware. I think it's all about silverware at the end of the day.
If Man United finish second?
No, if Arsenal finish second and Man U win the FA Cup, I'd say it's Man U. I think Arsenal perhaps have exceeded expectations more.
Yeah.
But I do think Man United have had a better season. Next season for Man U, got a challenge for the title, haven't they? Assuming they can sort out one or two positions, like you said, including the striker position.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that yet. That they look a long way off. Arsenal look closer than Man U. They look very as a waste of money. I mean, firstly, I don't care. I don't overly care. It's not like I think everything at Man U is bad. I think the way he's reintegrated Wan-Bissaka back into the team is very impressive. I think you're absolutely right with taking control of it. It's exactly what Arteta done. Make no mistake about it. I dislike Arsenal more than I dislike Man United. Let me get that absolutely straight. But they look lopsided in attack. That Anthony is not 85 million. He's just not. Sancho looks like a waste of money. I'm not saying he won't have a good career, but they look lopsided. It's sort of Rashford or bust, it looks like at the moment. So they would need to sort that out. But it is also Ten Hag that pushed really hard to get Anthony in. I know his first signing was where he really wanted De Jong, didn't get De Jong. I think him bringing Casemiro, great player, really, really, really good player, really makes him tick. So it's about Ten Hag identifying who he needs. I think they really need a striker. I like Rashford more on the left, I think. So if they're going to play with a 3, I'd like Rashford on the left, I think, for them. They would want to get a proper striker in. And then they also need someone like Rashford on the right as well. And I think then they can really go for it.
Harry Kane?
Yeah, I mean, he can't stick around. He
can't
can't stick around at Tottenham. The trouble is, yes, for Man U, would they want Harry Kane? Yes. Would Harry Kane want to go to Man U? Yes. You've got a big Daniel Levy-shaped problem there. And even though he'll only have 1 year left on his contract, Daniel Levy would much rather sell Harry Kane to Bayern Munich or something like that, where he doesn't come back and embarrass him. And I think he's that stubborn. Let's say Man United were ready to offer 75 million for Harry Kane. We're talking about 1 year left on the contract here. That's what I'm saying, in case it sounds low. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Daniel Levy would rather sell him to Bayern Munich for 60 million than Man U for 75 and cut out the embarrassment. So they're not in full control. Neither Man United nor Harry Kane.
Yeah, I think if they could get Kane, I think that would... It smacks of Robin van Persie, just buying a ready-made striker. Yes, he's getting on a bit, but we need goals. They need goals. Kane gives you goals. I think it's I think it's an obvious transfer for both parties there, actually. Plays your Meyer?
Well, I like Garnacho. I saw him really early in the season. I think he looks really skillful, really, really good. Really like him. I know Fernandes is playing well, but I don't admire him ever since you pointed out how much he moans on the pitch. That's all I see now. That's all I see. See him moaning. All of that. Don't like that at all. Rashford's really refocused and he's playing. I don't like what Rashford seems to be pontificating and resisting a new deal. I think he owes Man United because Man United stuck by him when he was crap. Absolute crap. He came out of COVID crap. He took his eye off the ball and he did really good things with the school dinners and the rest of it. He really did. But he took his eye off the ball and he was crap. And now he's starting to play well again. And it's like, well, I'm not sure if I'll sign a new contract and stuff like that. Unless he has since I last read. I don't read a lot about Man United. I don't even watch much of Man United. He owes them. He owes that club. He really, really does. And I would hope for his sake that he shows some loyalty because it's sadly lacking in football, actually. I think Luke Shaw's done really well when he stepped into there. I didn't think he had it in him, to be fair. Looks all right, but I think that's just good coaching as well. And I think the the little centre back has done. We all thought he was going to be crap, didn't we? Well, I speak for myself. You might have thought he was going to be brilliant.
I better say thank you very much.
Yeah.
You and Jamie Carragher.
Me and Jamie.
That's because you're short as well.
Me or Jamie?
You're short.
Well, hold on a second. That doesn't make sense. If that was me, it would be me and him would be like kindred spirits. I thought we were going to be brilliant. Us little fellas, us hobbits, we make great centre backs.
No, because you saw Martinez. You thought, mate, you're never going to cope in this. I would have made it if I was taller, because I'm this high. I never made it. So
I just never would have made it, regardless of height. But yeah, so he's done all right as well. And Casemiro obviously, makes them tick.
Luke Shaw and Fernandes for me. I think Martinez had a good season too, but I think Luke Shaw, I think he's world class, Gonzo. I said it last summer. I would have loved us to go get him. Was it possible? I don't know. But as soon as Malacia rocked up at Man United and they still had Tellez on the books at that point, I thought if there's a possibility of getting Luke Shaw out of Man U, I'd have loved to see him come to West Ham. And this season, he's been incredible. He's a world-class left-back. And something I'm going to say, I think he's a world-class centre-back as well. I know he punched the ball against Brighton and that'll take the shine off his performance. But
what a punch.
I think he's a...
world-class punch.
I think he's a top player. Honestly, I really, really do think he's a fantastic footballer. Defensively, really strong, creative. That pass for Martial in the first half against Brighton, there's not many players from the defence, whether it's a fullback or a centre back, there's not many players in the Premier League spot that and then execute that pass the way Luke Shaw did, just cutting through the heart of Brighton straight into the feet of Martial in the 18-yarder. That said, there you go, turn and you've got a shot. I think and Bruno Fernandes, he winds me right up. How you needed me to point out to you, I don't know, but honestly, he does. I want to punch the telly when I see him. Yeah. He's just got that face. I don't mind people getting on at the referee. Like Lewis Dunk does it in the right way. Martin Noble did it in the right way. Just have a go at the referee, but do it in a certain way. But it's the fact that he whinges over like throw-ins down in the opposition's corner and he'll run 20 yards screaming for it. I just say, flipping hell. It's just tiring watching him, but I think he's so underappreciated. I think the amount of talent he's got, I think he's having an incredible season. I just don't think he gets anywhere near the plaudits he deserves. And it's probably because he's got an attitude that you want to slap and it takes a shine off it. But I do think he's a serious talent. He plays in various different positions for Ten Hag. I've seen him play on the right, on the left, number 10, number 8. In every single position he pops up in, he does a job there. He's a really, really good player. And he's Man United's real captain. You saw it in the final against Brighton when it was penalty shootout time and Maguire stood there with his coat on and Fernandes were going around all the penalty takers and geeing them up and having a word with them all one by one and stuff. I thought that's the captain material, not the guy that's bottled it. But and I like Maguire. I don't actually mind Harry Maguire, but I thought Fernandes stepped up. But anyway, enough about Man U. Shall we talk about West Ham?
Yes, mate.
We've got quite a bit of team news. So, as we know, Scamacca is unavailable. Kurt Zouma is, well, we assume he's unavailable. Yes. Moyes has been a little bit coy with not saying when he's going to be back, but just keep saying he's a quick recoverer. So we're going to rule him out for this one, though. It does feel a little bit too soon. And the early diagnosis was he might make Alkmaar or possibly the Brentford game. Yeah. So we're going to knock him out for this one. David Moyes did his press conference earlier today and stated that one more player has been sent home ill. So one player is possibly going to be missing, but he did also confirm that Declan Rice, Nathan Gerrard and Thomas Souček are all back in training. And even with that person going home sick, they may still be back tomorrow and available for Sunday. But because we don't know who it is, we can't not include them in this team. But the big question mark remains over Vladimir Coufal. Went off with a hamstring injury of some sort. Was it a precaution? Was he just feeling it? Or is he actually out for this game? We don't know. It wasn't mentioned in the public part of David Moyes' press conference. You're going to have to wait for the embargoed section to come out a little bit later. That'll probably be out tomorrow. So we don't have an update on Coufal. So we'll discuss the inclusion or exclusion of Coufal as we go. Gonzo, have you got your team ready?
I've got my team ready. Have you got your team ready?
No, kind of.
We discussed this before we went live. Yeah, you haven't.
Yeah, I really struggled actually with this one, and it's all because
of Vladimir. You make yours up.
Well, I've done it. I've wrote it down, but I'll be honest with you, it all hinges on Coufal.
Yes, yeah. Well, I've
You
sort of put
included
him
him.
in, and then if he's not, then they can put Johnson in because there's nothing else that they can really do. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I'm a bit like
only
that.
had
So
a young, promising up and coming,
Scottish right back.
Scottish right fullback who can play at wing back. That'd be nice.
To be fair, he's injured as well.
Oh well.
Anyway, would you like to talk me through your defence, please?
Yes, please. So we will have Areola in goal, please, and because Fabianski's letting 1 million goals, we'll have Kera at right centre half, Angelo Ogbonna at centre half, and Naif Agerd at left centre half, please.
I get it. I get why you're going with the back three. What's your wing backs?
Would be Coufal and Emerson, and and hope that he's fit. Obviously, if he's not, then fine. And particularly if he's not, it's still not the worst position because you've got Kera inside of that. And I actually thought, aside from the first minute when he was on the pitch, Johnson, so he came on 69th minute. I thought after that, the next 20, he was okay. I thought he was okay, actually. I thought he did okay. So I'm less worried about that than I was. But I would rather Coufal there.
Did you hear the thunder there?
Thunder?
Yeah, did you hear the thunder? Did it come through?
What? When I said Johnson played well for the last 20 minutes, what are you saying? The Lord struck thunder down and said, "No."
There was a real rumble. I thought you might have heard it. I'm disappointed now.
No.
I've gone with a back four of Johnson, Kera, Agerd, and Cresswell, and I'm doing it without any confidence. Obviously, I hope Coufal's fit and can play right back, and if that would be a decent back four. I don't want to see Agerd right centre back. I don't want to see it. I don't want him in Ogbonna as a two centre backs, especially if Coufal's not. The worst possible scenario for us defensively on Sunday, in my opinion, is Agerd's right centre back. We're playing four at the back. Agerd's on the right, and then either Johnson or Kera is right back. We will get torn apart down that side. We will have two weak spots on the right-hand side of our defence up against Rashford, and on the bench is possibly going to be Garnacho. I will be dreading that. It's a difficult one defensively without Kurtzuma, and if we're missing Coufal as well. Anyway, what's your midfield? What you saying?
Well, I'll say Rice, Downs, and Paqueta. I know it won't be, but just to reiterate, I think it's worth saying because someone was picking us up on it in the build-up. You lot didn't predict this. We don't. This is what we would like to see, rather than what we think David Moyes is going to do. So yeah, I'll go Rice, Downs, and Paqueta.
I'm going to go Rice, Paqueta. And Thomas Souček.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's had a few good games recently, and I do think Souček allows Rice and Paqueta to be at the best of their abilities. Man U are poor defensively at set pieces, and I hate the fact that I'm now including someone to exploit it, but I don't know. I found myself surprised going for Souček, actually, but I just had a hunch. I thought, no, actually, this is who I want to see in there. I think he's done okay recently. I don't think he's been that bad. Has he been great? No, but I don't think he's going to be. We're not going to see man of match performances from Thomas Souček. We're not. He got 2 assists at a goal against Crystal Palace and was arguably still not man of match. Well, he was.
He was my man of the match.
Well, we did the player ratings and we gave him our man of match. He was, but I'm going to tell you what happened. When we did the player ratings on pitching, which I'll promote in a minute, Thomas Souček was man of match against Crystal Palace with a score of 6 out of 10.
I gave him an 8.
Did you? Well, I gave him a 6. You've been very generous.
Yeah, I'm nice.
I might have given him a 7. But my point is, usually you've got to be a 9 out of 10 or something to be man of match. That game, you didn't have to be. But he turned up. He turned up. He's our best midfielder that game.
He didn't turn up for Man City, no, did he?
No, he was.
He went home. He was opposite of turning up. He went home, turned round and went home.
Was he the sick one or the food poisoning one?
Sicko. I'd maybe a bit of both. Maybe a bit of both. Bit a snotty nose and a dodgy prawn.
And a rest. I mean, what? Never mind. Did you see the clip of David Moyes, by the way, when he was asked?
Yes, I did. Yes, yeah.
And his smile, come on, that's a blagger. That is a blagger.
He's so bad. He's not even good at it. Just think, stop. It's embarrassing. I cringed. Like, oh, like that.
He's like, I'll try and do it. You said to me you were missing some players tonight. I'll try and do Moyes' impression.
So, David, are you missing any players for the game coming up against Manchester United?
Yeah, a couple of them have got illnesses.
You've got me.
They had to
Davey
go
boy. That was good. You did a good Scottish accent as well, then, Geo. To be fair, that was very Moyes-like.
That comes natural to me.
It does. It's funny. Yeah, it's seamless.
Anyway, you have 2 players remaining. Which 2 are you going for?
Eh? Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't count the goalkeeper. Oh,
are you trying to play 12?
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. That's why I'm going to predict a draw. Damn, done it again. Oh, well, that's rather mucked up my.
What 3 did you have out of interest?
Bowen, Antonio, and Cornet. I mean, I'm not even joking. That's by the way, that's where I had my teacup on the pad.
I think you've just qualified for the Chelsea's manager's job with that.
Yeah.
Todd Bowley likes a bit of 4-4-3.
You can't beat it, mate. It's the one and only formation, really. But yeah, I haven't actually put the goalkeeper in, which is why I've chosen it.
So were you just intending to play with no goalkeeper and just outfielders?
And that says Cornet, not see you next Tuesday, just so you're
terrible
writing.
I thought that was something to do with the dugout, but never mind.
I'd say my pad is disgraceful. You can sign up for Patreon. I'll buy myself a new pad. How'd you like that? There you go. There's your segue.
I forgot to promote that. I've gone with Bowen, Antonio. I guess Cornet, but I say it with absolutely zero hope we're going to see him, but also because Ben Mama, he is a bit of a threat, but he scored 1 goal from open play in the Premier League this season. We're now on match day 35 of the Premier League. We've waited long enough, I think, for Said Ben Mama to do something else.
Very patient.
I think we've waited long enough to see Maxwell Cornet in the team as well. And we've got to do something. We've got to change it up. We've got to try and keep it a little bit fresh somewhere. And the options are few and far between. They're very limited. I mean, we could do your way. That's definitely different. But I'm not sure the repercussions of that would be worthwhile. So Bowen and Antonio have to start, though, even though we've got concerns over their fitness and how fresh they will be. But we don't really have an option. So.
No. I might rest Bowen, actually. Now
which one are you dropping?
Yeah, I think I'm going to rest Bowen.
So Cornet and Antonio up front.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be against it. Anyway, it's time to promote that Patreon at long last. If you want some more Hammers Chat videos, I mean, if that last 5 minutes wasn't convincing enough for you that we know what we're doing and we're really good at this stuff, it's even worse on Patreon. I'm not even kidding. But if you fancy some more terrible videos, such as our player ratings from the Man United game, my opposition prediction ahead of the Man United game, Hammerlytics, my podcast with Anton Ferdinand, the Patreon podcast, get online store discount at our store where we sell this t-shirt, we sell those coasters as well as those books as well. Discount on everything, entry into our giveaways where this month we've just given away a signed Declan Rice armband and a few other bits and pieces that are over there in a nice neat pile. You can do that by going to patreon.com/Hammers Chat. Link is in the description and the pinned comments of this video. All support is massively appreciated. From £3.60 per month, so less than £1 a week, you can unlock more videos in return and help support the channel. Gonzo, are you feeling optimistic?
I am, yes.
What is your reasonings?
Apart
from playing 12 players. Yeah.
Okay. Other reasons for optimism. I think we might be a little bit fresher. I think United might be a little bit wounded by their 99th minute penalty concession the other day. I think so. I don't think I've looked at Man United's fixtures and using my own computer, I've extrapolated that they're going to finish 4th, whatever happens. They can't trouble the top guys. So I think they're all right. Really, I think they're going to be all right. I think we'll be more motivated than them. I think Lucas Paqueta's going to show him who he's going to want to. He's playing against his his mate Casemiro, he's going to want to show, hold on, I think so there'll be a little bit of stuff going on there as well. I think David Moyes, with his wry smile and his smoke and mirrors routine, is going to pull a tactical masterstroke.
Do you think his TV was working again so he could watch Man U last night?
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Oh, it was terrible. He needs to be quiet. Go on, Ted, because people won't know. Go on.
When he got asked in the press conference before the Man City game, did you watch the Leicester-Everton game? Obviously, it was an entertaining game. Did you watch the Leicester-Everton? He said, no, my satellite signal wasn't working. Man lives in central London. Just go outside. There's a bar with the football on. We play Leicester later.
Does he live in Canary Wharf? I'm sure he was hanging out the window on the side of Canary Wharf, like 100 floors up, trying to move his Sky dish around. All right, that's got it.
Needs a fire stick.
Well, I was going to say we could hook him up.
Needs a VPN.
No, we can. No, do it with us. Nothing to do with us. We can hook him up. Don't know anything about it.
We just listen to games on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're optimistic though.
I am optimistic. Yes.
I'm not. The right back problem. I'm. To be confident, to be optimistic, we have to have our first 11 out, and that includes Vladimir Coufal. Unfortunately, Zuma as well. But even if you take Zuma out, I think Kevin Agurd or Kevin Obon, I'm okay with that. But it's the right back problem. If Coufal is not fit, I am dreading it altogether. That's Man United's strongest point in the team, and it will be our weakest as well. They need to win. They need to make sure they get forward. They probably will, even if they lose this one. I expect they will. And if they had a Solskjaer and not a Ten Hag, I'd maybe fancy our chances, but they don't. They've got a really good manager there who did his press conference, said, we always bounce back from a defeat. And they tend to do that. They tend to bounce back from defeats. And I think that's because of the mentality of the manager, and he's getting that into his squad. So I'm not feeling optimistic. I wish I was, Gonzo, but I just think fatigue's still going to be an issue for us. It's a bit of an issue for Man United as well. They've had a long season too. We've got the semi-final on Thursday, and this is starting to dampen my excitement a little bit for that game on Thursday. Sure. Listen, come Wednesday night, I'm sure I'll be buzzing and I'll forget all about the Premier League for a little bit. But for now, it's taking its toll on me. Can I get any final words from yourself as well as your all-important score prediction?
Yeah. Look, I take all that into account, and I really have no real lucid reason for saying why we'll get a draw. I just think we will. Despite the illness, despite the food poisoning, despite the David Moyes' satellite dish, I think despite all of this stuff and his tomfoolery and his kidology in the press conference, we got a semi. And I'm feeling halfway there for this game as well. So I think it's going to be West Ham United 1, Manchester United 1.
I'll be happy with that. Will you be happy with that point?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, bring it on.
Edges us to safety, doesn't we? Still might need one more, but we'd have three games to pick that up. But I agree with you. I think I'd be okay with that point. I'm going to say 2-1 Man United though. They've got too much to play for, and I just don't fancy your chances. I don't have faith in David Moyes doing anything against Ten Hag. We'll face it like it's Fergie's Man United, and I think we'll get beat like it's Fergie's Man United as well. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this preview, it's a bit of a shambles at times, but there you go. 12 players from Gonzo. But if you fancied it, give us a like by clicking thumbs up underneath the video. If you're new to Hammers Chat, please do subscribe. And like I said, if you fancy supporting the channel and getting more videos in return for your subscription, go to patreon.com/Hammers Chat. Link in the description, pin comments. Myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.